All right, good afternoon, Paul. We've got some new music leading the way today. I hope you guys are enjoying the jam. It's kind of fun. Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
glad that he's
Having
brought
fun.
something new to the show. So,
Yeah.
well, either way, welcome to another edition of Live Feed Reed. I'm Paul Reed, your host, and this is the Ed McMahon to my Johnny Carson,
Yeah.
Jason Crawford, appearing
Ready?
live and in Technicolor from Tallahassee.
That's right. That's right.
All right. So let me, when we do these shows, I say you can't make this up. Heartfelt sympathies and prayers. I was supposed to be in trial this week, and I would have
Yeah.
probably been there today for the verdict and things of that nature. But on Saturday, I get an email from the clerk of the court where opposing counsel freaking had a heart attack.
Wow.
So trial canceled. I mean, they don't like continuing trials, but I guess that's about as good good a reason as any.
There's a legitimate
So
reason. Yeah.
prayers go out to him, I'm sure, and hope to be a full recovery. And in this business, certainly family and your health matters. So anyway,
For sure.
I just wanted to say, God bless. Everybody say a prayer. I'm not going to throw his name out there and all that. Just
Yeah.
Jesus take the wheel
Is it
and
tight
help him out.
circles? Do you guys like all know each other for the most part? Okay.
Well, here's the deal. I'm 60, so I've been doing this 29 years.
Sure. Yeah.
I know the old timers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I do not know the 30 somethings and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But it makes a difference. I'll give you an example. We filed a lawsuit against the county this week, and a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but he works for the county, and he says, well, and he gets to pick and choose. He's up there, so he'll get the lawsuits and say, you take this, you take this, you take this. He said when he sees my name come across it, he goes, that's mine. Because he knows I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah.
We work well together. He knows we're going to do our discovery. We're going to do our depositions. We're going to do each side what needs to be done, but it's just not going to be all the BS. So guess what? I saw it. There he is. I'm like, all right, good.
Solid.
We'll do what we got to do, and if we can agree at some point to settle, not if we can't. I've tried a case with him, and then you just do what you need to do. So yes and no.
Okay, valid. Yeah.
All right. So TV world, computer land. Jason and I had talked last week about this particular McDonald's hot coffee case.
That's right.
And Jason believes it's a frivolous case.
I look at it and I see this was kind of the one. I was a young kid at the time, and I just kind of, I don't have
1979, I believe. Yes.
I wasn't a young kid at all. I meant when I discovered
Were you even born?
No. I meant when I came to know about it, it was it kind of came on my radar. I was young,
Sure.
and I remember everybody talking about it. But it seems like that was really the case that launched this Sue Happy culture. And I'm like, man, was it frivolous? Was it even? I mean, like, coffee's hot. Don't you know coffee's hot? It just seems on the surface to be
illegitimate. You're not alone. So let's delve into it. And I don't have a mic, but I'm gonna drop it.
Okay. Wait, let me get my rim shot
here's
ready.
what happened. All right. But I agree with you. This was the beginning of the frivolous lawsuit propaganda machine.
Yeah, right.
Period. I mean, it was the TV stations, celebrities, news outlets. Now, there wasn't the internet and all that crap. I can't imagine the internet, but it was bad enough on TV and so forth and so on. But it was the beginning. All right, so here's the deal. It might not have been 1979, but
I don't remember now.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So here's the deal, though, because I was just looking at it. It was a 79-year-old woman, Stella Liebeck, and she had bought a cup of coffee at McDonald's in the drive-thru. She was a passenger. So her and her friend get her coffee, and they pull over and they park. So the car wasn't running. They were parked.
Okay.
She had taken the coffee, put it between her legs and her knees, had taken the lid off, and was going to put cream and sugar in it when the coffee tipped over and spilled in her lap.
Okay.
All right. She was wearing sweatpants, which makes a difference because those types of cotton clothes don't allow the hot coffee to kind of be steered away from your skin.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, if you're wearing jeans, that's one thing, or
This was
some type
the
of different clothing. But sweatpants were particularly bad for this type of situation.
yeah, this is the Stella Liebeck. Is that it?
Yeah, Liebeck.
Okay,
Right.
got you.
That's the case. So nothing I'm telling you. I mean, it's there's a case, so it's public
Right.
domain.
Yeah.
So all right. So she spills the coffee, and she immediately gets scolded,
Okay.
and she was immediately taken to the ER because she went into shock. This was so bad. All right. So she spills the coffee. She's in shock. She goes to the hospital. She has serious third-degree burns, which
Okay.
are the most serious burns you can have to your skin. She's in the hospital for, I believe, 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to basically deal with a third-degree burn, because they don't heal, is skin grafts.
Yeah.
So she had skin grafts on basically 22% of her body, 6% to her skin and to a certain area in the crotch area down below,
Yeah.
and then 16% further down, to the back of the legs and to the knees because the whole cup spilled.
That
Okay,
is hot.
well, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And so that's what started the case. Now,
Okay.
mind you, she went to McDonald's and tried to resolve the case for lost wages, medical bills, 20 grand. McDonald's says pound sand, we'll give you $800. And that's,
What?
yeah, let me keep going. So that's what started this whole thing. All right.
What?
So now, at the time that this occurred, McDonald's had a corporate policy to serve its coffee at a temperature that they knew it could cause serious burns within 2 to 7 seconds. They knew
Wow.
it. Okay.
Wow.
McDonald's, and these are some of the facts that came out at trial. McDonald's had received more than 700 previous reports of injuries from its coffee, including numerous lawsuits that this was happening.
Oh, it's not the first lawsuit then.
McDonald's had settled lawsuits based on this hot coffee issue prior to Miss Liebeck.
Hmm.
Right? Let's see here. Okay, so here we go. Here's some of the evidence. I'm just going to go through it. So this is McDonald's operation manual required, meaning made, its franchisees to keep its coffee at 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. And again, coffee at that temperature is spilled, causes third degree burns within 2 to 7 seconds. All right. Other companies and so forth recommend about 140 to 160. Reason being, that gives you 60 seconds to clean it up before you get third degree burns. And 60 seconds is a long time. You can usually avoid third degree burns if you put something on, spill something, you can wipe it off or get it off.
And what was the temperature for that?
Which one?
The recommended.
140 to 160.
That's a big difference.
It is,
Yeah.
So we're at 180 to 190. Okay. Here's the deal. McDonald's admitted it knew about the risk of the serious burns from its scalding hot coffee for more than 10 years. All right.
Whoa.
An expert witness for the company testified, however, that the number of burns was insignificant compared to the billions of cups we serve each year and the $1.3 million we make a day.
Well, I think that's kind of shooting himself in the foot there.
Profits over people.
Yeah, he's shooting himself in the
foot
there.
All right, let me keep going.
Yeah.
McDonald's own quality assurance manager. Quality assurance is someone who, basically looks at the products and says this is safe, not safe. These are the problems. These are what Quality assurance. The finger at every big company has a quality assurance manager.
Yeah, the fall guy.
He testified at trial that the coffee that they were serving was unfit for human consumption. because
Wow.
of the risk that it would cause to if spilled, and that it was so hot that it would burn your mouth and throat.
So was this did he testify to that, or was there
Oh
a
yeah.
record of him saying that?
Oh no, they
Okay.
put your butt up on a stand,
Yeah.
and just like you see in Congress, where they
Yeah.
put somebody
Right.
in
Right.
that chair and
Yeah.
they ask you questions, and guess what? You don't lie because it's perjury, you go to prison.
Yeah. I was just curious if there was a record of him telling McDonald's that, or if that was
Oh, there's a
suddenly
record
his.
of him testifying to that at
Yeah.
this trial.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
The fall guy doesn't want to fall. Imagine
Well,
that.
hey, I'm not going to prison for you, bro. All
That's
right,
a,
hold on. Another thing,
yeah.
McDonald's
Okay.
admitted that its consumers were unaware of the extent of the risk of serious burns from the spilled coffee. They didn't warn them.
Okay.
They
So
knew it,
yeah.
but they didn't warn them. Again, money, 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 money. All right, keep
Yeah.
going.
So I have a
Uh,
question about that, but when we're
no,
done.
hold on.
Yeah, when we're done.
McDonald's admitted it did not warn the customers of the nature and extent of the risks.
Okay.
Um, and get this. This is just this was they said this with a straight face. McDonald's, in its defense, claimed at trial that the reason for serving such hot coffee in its drive-through windows was that those who purchased the coffee typically were commuters who wanted to drive a distance with the coffee before drinking it, and that the high temperature would keep the coffee hot during the trip before your consumer drank it, right? We serve it hot because people are going to come through the drive through and then wait 10, 15, 20 minutes to get to work for drinking the coffee. Well, here's the problem. On cross examination, however, it came to light that McDonald's had carried out research finding that consumers intended to consume the coffee immediately while driving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, that's a problem. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Jeez.
Yeah. All right.
I
And
do have a
so,
quick. Okay.
well, no, so,
I'll wait.
and we'll get to it, but
I'll wait. Yeah.
guess what? So the poor woman won,
Good
but
for
they
her.
did find that she was contributory and comparative negligence, so they reduced her amount by her fault and the way it's supposed to
Okay.
work. Really.
Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But guess what? The day after the verdict, the news now again can't vouch for this, but the news media documented that the McDonald's were in Albuquerque where this happened, reduced the temperature to 158 degrees.
Imagine
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, but that was the beginning of the frivolous
Yeah.
lawsuit propaganda. And those facts alone, you can see
Yeah.
that wasn't frivolous. They knew they were burning people.
Yeah.
Their own manager said, look, we're putting profits, a billion cups a
Yeah.
year,
Why would we stop?
1.3 million a day.
Yeah.
We'll just honestly, we'll just go to trial because we don't think people will buy the I spilled hot coffee on you and give you
Yeah.
money. That was really the thought process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
And well,
think.
once you get the facts, not so much. All right,
Yeah.
now go ahead.
Well, I think this is important. To me, there's a number of things that come to mind. The first is we've got to do better than read headlines. And I think that this isn't a modern problem that's just social media driven. This is a problem that existed before the internet, like you were talking about, or at least prior, where these headlines drive mass thinking and we don't dive into any of the details. So, one, thank you for diving into the details because it's important.
I
And
couldn't agree with you more.
yeah. And
No,
two,
because that's what happened. I mean, celebrities came out.
yeah.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
ABC News. This is what's wrong with America. And in fact,
Yep.
Toby Keith sings a song where he referenced spill a cup of coffee, get $1 million. So he's
Oh
mocking that
yeah.
in
Yeah,
his
yeah.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's yeah, so I think that's paramount to at least understanding the way things work is critical. But I was also thinking that we complain that like, oh, tax the rich, or we have all these ideas about how the wealthy are unethical and irresponsible and yada yada. And I think that people don't understand the nature of what good laws and good lawyers do to hold the system accountable. Like, so for example, here's a question that I have for you. If we don't have lawsuits like these, how do you hold companies accountable without them? Because I've seen
Hold on. No, you can stop. You
Okay.
don't. You don't.
Yeah.
But for the civil justice side of this, the ability to hold someone responsible for injuring you, you don't. It's just
Yeah.
there is no other way to say it.
And
And in
you
fact, let
un
me give you an example. Let me give you an example. So what
okay.
happens is you have there's a law back in it was and it changed in 2010. And people that are my age or maybe a little younger will remember this. The law used to be if you went into an establishment, a Sears, a Kmart, a Walmart, a
Hmm.
restaurant, whatever, that establishment had the duty to basically prove that they were maintaining their premises in a reasonable, safe condition, meaning
Okay.
cleaning the bathrooms, making sure the floors weren't wet, picking up things on the ground, and so
Right.
forth.
Okay.
Okay, well, if you remember, which you don't because you weren't born, when you went into the bathroom, on the back of the door, you would see a little piece of paper, and it
Yeah.
would go 8 o'clock, 8:15, 8:30,
Yes.
8:45, and you'd see
Yes.
initials. Okay.
Yes.
That's how the establishments would prove we went in and cleaned that bathroom every 15 minutes.
So that's a notice to the public is what that was for.
Well, it's my affirmative defense
Yeah.
that we did clean the bathrooms because there's the initial
I,
of the employee that went in.
I've seen some of
Well, if
those,
you hold
but
on,
not
if you
often.
remember, which you don't, hell, at the end of the day, half of that would be blank. So
Yeah.
then when I filed my lawsuit because I went in the bathroom and there was whatever on the floor, I would grab that document and say, yep, look, you didn't do it for 3 hours. I came in and they would be at fault. Well, they knew
Interesting.
that. And so they just, what they did?
They,
They went to the state of Florida, the government, and said, hey, we don't like this. This is very difficult for us to have to prove that we kept our store, our restaurant, or otherwise
uh,
reasonably clean and
yeah.
safe for the public. So what does the government do? Which, right, wrong, or other, I'm not. They changed the law, and they
Yeah.
said, okay, we agree. We don't like plaintiffs' lawyers anyway, greedy little bees that
Yep.
they
Yep.
are. And,
Easy
and so what
enemy.
we're going to do is we're going to put the burden on you, Jason, the injured party, to prove one of two things. Number one, first you got to prove what you fell on, which,
Okay.
believe it or not, is not as easy as you think sometimes because people are embarrassed. They just get up, walk out the store with a broken
Sure.
leg, and because they, are just embarrassed. But number two,
Mm.
difficult one. You, Jason, have to prove that the store knew that the water was on the floor or the clothes
Yeah.
hanger was on the floor or the toy was on the
That's
floor
harder. Yeah.
or that they reasonably should have known. That is like climbing Mount Everest
Yeah. That's hard.
because without a video, how do you prove that Publix, Walmart, or any establishment knew
Knew it
that there
was
was
there.
water on the floor? I got news for you. I've never heard one time where an employee comes up, yeah, I told the manager that water was on the floor 15 minutes
He
ago.
didn't do anything about it.
Right.
Yeah. Sure. Right.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
the only saving grace, especially with Walmart, we got our fair share, and I'm not ragging Walmart, but
Sure. No.
they have cameras.
Yeah.
And so that will
Yeah.
kind of dictate, and a lot of stores, Home Depots, your malls, your this, your
Yeah. Because you get
that. So the
timestamps.
first thing you do, you send out a letter of representation, preservation, preserve the video, and then that speaks for itself. If you see it on the floor,
Yeah.
then you got a shot and so forth.
Now,
But either way, that's back to your
yep.
question. Yeah, without us, and I'm, being, counting my own shit, but without us, you're screwed.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you're into it. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
you do what you do. And so it's not, you don't have to toot your own horn or not. It's
Yeah.
not about that at all. But like, I know you, Paul, and I know that you're in this because you aim to make a difference, not just to take home cash. The cash is great to have, but everybody's got to get paid to do something. Even the work
I
that I
appreciate
do,
it. No, and I agree.
I
And
wish it paid better.
but that's what happens. Without
Yeah,
it, I mean, think about
sure.
it. Without it, they run wild and run free. I mean, here's
Yeah,
another thing that
and they do.
everybody in Florida can appreciate. And you can Google this. What was the big oil well that blew up 10 or 20 years
Exxon
ago?
or BP?
Yeah, what was it? The Horizon, or it blew up in the Gulf and it leaked for 100 days, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's my understanding, and you don't fact check me, go to the internet, but there was
Yeah.
a part that should have been required by the regulatory agencies.
Yeah.
There was about $50,000. right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if that part had been on there, it's my understanding that wouldn't have happened.
Right.
The
Okay.
Deepwater Horizon, whatever. But understand, and you tree huggers out there, if you wonder where there's 14,000 oil wells in the Gulf of Mexico, take a trip off Venice, Louisiana, and go fishing, and it
Mm.
will blow your mind. Jason, I didn't even know
Yeah.
how many oil wells are out there. You know
That's wild.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not a math major, but 14,000 times 50,000, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so
So they look at the price tag and
with deregulation comes risk. Now
yeah.
I'm not a deregulation person, not a regulation. This is very dangerous. And if this oil well blows up and it's going to ruin the Gulf of America, Gulf of Mexico, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Alabama, which it was a mess.
Yeah.
Well, then guess what, Exxon or whomever, instead of making 60 billion profits a year, maybe you make 59 billion and you spend 50,000 on the part.
Yeah. Well, okay, so what you're talking about, if you go back to our McDonald's case, even that we're
Yeah.
talking about,
Mm-hmm.
as the trial goes on, it came out that they knew the temperature and they were making a conscious choice. And they try to rationalize it one way or the other, but they knew
Right.
and proceeded anyway. And then their retort is, oh, well, we're not going to stop making $1.5 million a day or
1.3
$1.3
a
million
day.
dollars a day.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because
Just
there's
so you'll know, they still have it 180, 190 degrees. They just now put a little warning on the cup.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Dude, it
so
was
there's a
something simple.
conspiracy.
And again, I'm a businessman, but
Sure,
you can't just put profits over people.
agreed.
There has to be a happy medium.
Yeah. And there's a conspiracy that I've seen going around about the ice cream machines. I don't know if you've seen the memes or whatever. But so McDonald's apparently has Taylor ice cream machines, and then a huge majority of Taylor's profits come from the maintenance packages, not the machines themselves. So they sell faulty machines, but they're the only ones under contract that can repair them. And so this third party innovator said, hey, we could make a little gadget that hooks to the internet that'll diagnose the problem for you. And they start selling them to the McDonald's so that they can get their machines up and running and sell ice cream. And then Taylor doesn't like that. So they lean on McDonald's and they conspire together to scuttle Kitch and throw them under. There's an article about this, so I'm not saying this is
What's that got to do
fact.
with personal injury?
Well, what I'm saying is the ethics behind the decision making that drive people, they do oftentimes
Oh,
protect their
it's
profits
money.
over people.
That's
Yes.
it. I mean, God bless America.
And it's
I'm pro profit and I
yeah,
get it.
100%.
But if you have a product
Yeah.
and you know that it's causing serious injuries to people,
Yes.
you need to modify that product, in my
Yes.
opinion. It's
Yeah.
just that simple.
The
I mean,
point
this isn't anything that should be controversial.
No, the point I was getting
Or if not, warn. And I'll give you, we're going to get out of here, but the final
warn.
thing,
Yeah.
go to a Home Depot or a
Yes.
Lowe's, right? Go to the ladder section and they're up one side, down the other,
Yeah.
on the inside, on the top, on the
Yep.
bottom, are
Yeah.
warning labels.
Everywhere. Yeah.
So fine, a ladder by definition can be a dangerous item, and I can't make this up. We went on a Monday. One of the Catania brothers and I go to trial, and we show up, and we had to tell the judge we need a continuance. Well, this judge had a Ghostbuster type, red, the Ghostbuster
Yep,
red,
yep,
so
yep.
no continuances. Right.
Yeah.
He goes, this better be good. Well, Your Honor, our ladder expert fell off his ladder and died. He was basically trimming trees. He leaned too far. Boop, boop, done.
Wow. You can't
Not
make
funny.
that up.
Not funny.
You
But
can't
I'm
make
just
that
saying.
up. That's
So
wild.
there are innately dangerous products, and just warn about it. That's
Yeah.
it. Warn.
Yeah. I mean, that's valid.
Just that simple. If you
That's
got some
valid.
kind of I don't know. I don't do construction work, but I'm sure there's some machinery there that's dangerous. And you
Well,
got to tell people what the dangers are. And I'm going to go one more. A buddy of mine we were cleaning out pipes, and it was a big. You got it at Home Depot, and it was this metal, right? And the guy said, "Look, um, sometimes roots. I have on the house. The gutters have drains into my pond. Sometimes roots cut through there. If that thing grabs a root, you get your A away from it. It'll take your hand off
mm-hmm.
because it'll just whatever it's spinning, and it'll just. And so my buddy, I'll be damned. He was holding it and feeding it, and luckily it just ripped his glove off, but left his hand. But the guy warned us. He
Yeah.
goes, "This is dangerous. Here's what you need to do." Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, it was
Jeez.
close.
Jeez, man.
Close.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
All right. Well, anyway, so the McDonald's hot coffee case. Now
Yeah.
if you're out having a cocktail and some idiot brings it up, you can say, "Oh no, 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 no."
Yeah. Have some.
Oh no, no,
Have
no, no,
some.
no, no, no.
Have
Like
some
Alec
effects.
Baldwin. Hey, Alec Baldwin. Oh no, 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 no.
Oh man.
So, all right. So let's see. It is the 20th of June. It's freaking hot.
Yeah. Well, can I say one thing in ending?
Go ahead.
I was going to say that I think a lot of people, in response to seeing capitalism and they think people are greedy and whatnot, they think dismantle the system. And I think the actual answer to it is good laws and good lawyers. And I think people should either want to know one or be one.
And honestly, good people in management that kind of you can make money, a lot of money, and still do the right thing.
Yes, correct.
Which is fine. Hey, look, I'm a capitalist.
Yes.
Make your money.
Yep.
Treat people fairly.
That's right.
Do the right thing. If you're dealing with safety issues, and it'll all work out.
Yes.
If you just money,
then you should expect to get held accountable.
Then, that's you, whomever, and
right.
That's just not me. I think you can make a lot of money. I think you can treat people fairly. I think I don't do, mine's not, safety issues, but you can.
Yeah.
And everything will work out fine versus, like the Deepwater Horizon, you don't 50 and you blow up the United States of America, so to speak.
Sometimes you have to take a hit to do the right thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's important. Anyway.
All right, so let's see. Church on Sunday.
Today's Crystal's birthday.
Jesus. Huh?
Today's Crystal's birthday.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, good for her. and she is bringing another lad into the world from our wannabe Catholic Jason Crawford, 50th kid. So that's good. How's she doing?
She's doing much better now. I think
what month is she in?
We're around 10 weeks, 11 weeks.
Pregnant?
Yeah, 10, 11 weeks.
Did you hear me?
Huh?
I said you ain't pregnant.
Did I say we? I thought I said she.
You did say we.
Oh, I thought I said she. I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she's around. Yeah, she's around 10 or 11 weeks.
All right. Well, tell her I said happy birthday.
Okay, I will.
Tell the kids Uncle Paul said hello.
I will. I'll tell them that.
I guess take us out.
You got it. Oh, real quick, Avery and Chunky, my two boys, were talking the other day, and Avery was like, "How do you kill somebody?" I think I don't know what game they were playing, but he just asked, "How do you kill somebody?" And so Chunky just turns and he goes, "You turn the off switch." Boop.
That's pretty. Yeah, turn them off.
Turn
That's
off
funny.
switch.
God,
Yeah.
love them. Love the innocence. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right, man. I'll take us out.
All right, see ya.
Roll the music.
Later.
Reed and Reed, it's like having a lawyer in the family.